guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is another story time for you. This one is so crazy and off the wall, but it literally feels like it just happened yesterday. This story is about my neighbor who literally was like trying to kill her roommate. So if you guys like storytime videos, make sure you give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy it. And also, if you're new to my channel, I would love for you to subscribe and join a family. That way you get all of my notifications for these lovely story time videos and everything in between. Okay, so that's it for the beginning. Let's get into the story. So this happened last year. Well, I say that. No, it didn't. It happened 2 years ago. It literally feels like it just happened though. I was probably 5 months pregnant when this happened, and it was just like one of the scariest things that I've ever been slightly involved in. So we lived in a little one-bedroom apartment. It was very small. We shared walls with literally everyone on every single side except for the front door and like part of the living room, but everything else was a shared wall. So needless to say, we heard a lot of things that went on in the apartment, whether it was upstairs, to the side, to the other side. We were on the bottom floor, but we heard a lot of stuff. And let me tell you, I heard a lot of arguments, but nothing ever got to this level except for this one night, and it just scared me so bad. I'll take you to the beginning of the night. Our upstairs neighbors were just the worst. They were so bad and they were so rude. And first of all, they were rude. We had talked to them many times and tried to be nice and like neighborly and cordial, and you guys know how I am. Like if somebody passes by me and be like, hey, how are you doing? That's just kind of the person I am. To me, it's more weird if you like walk by someone and don't make eye contact, or you walk by someone and you do make eye contact but then you still don't say anything. Like I'll never understand that. So I'm always that person's like, hey, how you doing? Like whether it's on a walk or you know, just whatever. So obviously like in the parking lot and stuff, we didn't have a garage or anything. We ran into our upstairs neighbors a few times, and there were so many times that we would walk by each other and I'd say, hey, how are you doing? And like I continued to do that the entire time we lived there. And not once did she ever say anything to me. Not once did she ever say, hey, I'm good, how are you? Like she would just look at me like I was like literally an alien and not say anything back to me. So the night that this happened, it actually is not my upstairs neighbor I was talking about. It started with them because they were fighting, and I heard them fighting, and I was like, oh my god, like they were running across, like literally running. I could tell by like the pace of their footsteps. They were running around upstairs, slamming crap on the floor, like just yelling at each other. And there was one time I heard her say, I don't even know who I'm living with anymore. Obviously it was between her and her boyfriend, and okay, so that was crazy. So that's how the night started. So we heard them screaming and yelling upstairs. So, you know, we made dinner, we got ready for bed, watched some shows. Obviously we didn't have Lacey at this point, so I was like, I don't know, a little bit over halfway through my pregnancy. So sleep was an issue for me already. I'm not normally a light sleeper at all, but when I was pregnant, I was a very light sleeper. Like anything would wake me up. So it was about 2 a.m. and I started hearing like slamming on the back wall. So the connecting wall like right behind our bedroom. So at first when I woke up, I was like, oh my god, they're at it again, thinking it was our upstairs neighbors. It was actually our neighbors right like directly behind us that were still on the bottom floor. And so I was just like, what the heck, that's so annoying. Hopefully they'll just shut up and I can go back to bed. So I just continued to lay there, and then I heard literally just like, okay, here's the wall, here's my head. We had literally our bed just like backed up to the back wall. We did not even have like a bed frame or anything. We just had our bed on two like wooden support boxes. So anyway, there was not like a headboard in between us at all. So it was literally just the bed right here. My head was right here, and these people were yelling and banging right here on this wall. I was laying there, I was trying to fall asleep, and then I hear, oh my god, banging on the wall, just like every syllable. I was like, oh my god, you've got to be kidding me. I was like, please just one of them leave. Like, oh my god, I can't take this. So I'm assuming that our connecting wall was like the back of their bedroom wall. Obviously at that point Brock woke up too. He was like, what in the world was that? And I was like, I don't know. Like at first I thought it was the upstairs neighbors, then I realized it was the people behind us. He's like, I've never even heard the people behind us. And I was like, I hadn't either. So anyway, I knew I was gonna be awake for a while because I was already having issues sleeping, and so I just continued to lay there, and they just kept banging on the wall, and there were some things that I could like actually make out the words they were saying. There were other things that just kind of sounded jumbled. I don't know if this lady was talking to like her boyfriend or a roommate. I don't know the relationship. I never had met these people, but they were just like yelling back and forth and back and forth. It got to a point where like some of the things that she would say and some of the like the tones in her voice like almost sounded demonic or something. It was so weird, and I have no idea what the argument was about, but it was literally just screaming and screaming and screaming, and I never really heard anything from the other person. I mean, I heard a few jumbled things here and there, but it was mainly this lady that I heard. And, you know, she was just saying some off-the-wall stuff, just crazy, like, oh my God, I can't stand you, this, that, and the other. So we were just like, okay, this is just getting ridiculous. And she kept banging on that wall, and I was like, okay, you are aware that you are in an apartment complex. You know that you're sharing this wall with somebody. Why are you banging? At this point, it was like 3 in the morning. Why are you banging on our wall? Brock and I just got pissed at that point. We were laying there. I was just, you know, obviously hormonal and pissy and tired, so that was not a good combination. And he was just pissed off because he knew I was tired. He was also pissed off because he didn't want to hear it. Nobody wants to hear that kind of stuff. And so it got to the point where we were starting to be like, okay, what are we gonna do? It just kept going on for like an hour, and we were like, okay, we're calling the apartment complex now, and we're putting in a noise complaint because it just had gotten to that point. Obviously the office was not open, so we had to leave a message. They would have gotten it the next day. So we just continued to lay there, continued to just be like, oh my gosh, this is just not stopping. And at one point I was literally just so pissed off. I banged on the wall back and I said, shut the hell up. I don't even know if she heard me because she was just over there yelling and doing whatever she had to. I was just pissed. And so it just kept going on. I'm not even kidding. It just kept going on, kept going on. So it got 5 in the morning. I was like, this is absolutely ridiculous. And I was sitting there thinking, like, some people are getting up and getting ready for work at 5 in the morning. Some people are getting up and getting ready for school at 5 in the morning. This is so rude and so disrespectful on so many levels. We just sat there and we're like, okay, if she bangs one more time, we're calling the police. So the very next thing we hear, she bangs on the wall and she says, I swear I'm going to kill you. And after this point, how crazy it had already gotten, and like, you know, just everything going on, it seemed real. It seemed like that was a very strong possibility that this person was going to try to do something to harm the other person, because it had just been back and forth for so long. And at this point we were kind of wondering like if any drug or alcohol was involved, just because of the level that it was at. It was not a normal argument level. It was way above that. So I don't know if any substance was involved. I don't want to make any accusations, of course, but I know what a normal relationship argument is like, but it was just so beyond that. I can't even explain. So after that, I was like, I'm not gonna wake up and hear any news that somebody was killed in our apartment complex and then have that on my mind for the rest of my life. I was like, we're calling the police right now. So we obviously told the people what was going on, and they said they were gonna have somebody out soon. There was already a couple people in the area, and where we live, there's actually, for whatever reason, I think there's a police station pretty close to us, but there always seems to be police officers just kind of, you know, checking out the area. Not that we live in a bad area or anything. I just think we're really close to a police station, so it seems like cops are always out. And they said, oh, we've already got somebody kind of in the area. So anyway, like I said, it's 5 in the morning, and you know, we get a knock on our door. It's the police, and we sit there and talk to them. It's like the middle of the night. I'm like so cranky at this point, and I'm hungry, and I'm tired, and I'm pregnant, and I'm hormonal, and I was just like, oh my God. And the police officers obviously could see that I was pregnant, and they were like, just felt so bad for me. They kept asking if I was okay, and you know, we talked to them for a while, and they asked if they could come in. Of course we let them, and they said, do you mind if, you know, we go into your bedroom so that we can hear what you're talking about? And of course they come into the bedroom. These people are still arguing, still yelling, still banging on the wall, and they're like, oh my gosh. These officers were so nice. Like they were so cute too. When they walked into our apartment, they were like, oh my gosh, this is a really nice apartment. We've never seen these before. Just being like really friendly. And like, to me, if I was a police officer and I was like on duty at that time, like I don't know how they were so nice and friendly. Like I would be so cranky if I was, you know, working at that time of night. I suppose they're used to it, but still, they were trying to figure out what apartment it was, because I don't know, it's just kind of hard to tell. Like, you know, obviously you'd know what back wall was shared, but then to get around to their front door or figure out what they were doing, like it was just kind of a big deal. So they listened for a little bit. Brock took them outside and showed them what patio was theirs, and then all 3 of them walked around to the front, and then Brock came back to be with me, and they said they would check back after they had you know, gone to the apartment and kind of let us know. So they went over to the apartment, and apparently what had happened was they knocked on the door and then rang the doorbell, and they heard somebody come down the steps and then click the deadbolt. So obviously someone was home, and then he said it was completely silent after that. They switched the lights off. So obviously it was the right apartment. So after that, we did not hear anything the rest of the night. I don't know if the police were ever in touch with the people inside that apartment or any action was ever taken. For a regular noise complaint, like, I would feel bad doing that. But for this situation, it was just so necessary. So anyway, those officers were like so nice and so helpful, and we were so grateful that they actually like took seriously what we were saying, because I mean, it was, like I said, it was a very, very serious situation. I really, unfortunately, don't really know what the outcome was. We never heard anything else from those neighbors ever again. So I don't know if they just got their stuff together, or maybe there was some type of substance abuse going on in that situation that caused it to get to that level. And you know, hopefully if that was the case, that never happened again. Also, I mean, if you guys are ever in the situation yourself, don't feel like you're being annoying to call the police or get other people involved. If somebody's life is at risk, it's just not something that you mess around with, whether, you know, they're in an argument and saying things they don't mean or not. You just don't know. And in that situation, we had never met those neighbors. I don't know what type of people they are. Anything is possible, and I just didn't want someone to get hurt while we were just sitting there listening and knew what was going on. So I want to know, have any of you guys ever had a situation like this or similar, or maybe worse, maybe just kind of like a regular noise complaint? I want to know. There are so many things that you hear that you wished you didn't living in apartments, and I could go on and tell stories forever about noise complaints and crap like that that I've heard from living in apartments over the years, but that was probably the craziest thing that has ever happened while living in an apartment. Anyway, like I said, that was my story. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, and if you do enjoy my storytime videos, make sure to give this video a thumbs up to let me know that you like them. And also don't forget to subscribe. I would love for you guys to join the Katie Cat family. Thank you so much for taking a part of your day to watch my video and hang out with me, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.